That time of the morning again. Goeiemorgen, good morning.
Moria.
Why you put on pink this morning?
Why you put on pink this morning?
Nah, man. Guys and girls, good morning. This morning we're talking a bit of how we are coping and how has COVID changed our lives. I think there's not one person in this world who can say COVID hasn't changed their lives. So we would like to hear your story as well. If you have a comment, please comment, and we'll try and put that on screen for you. Um, but yeah, how did COVID change your life?
I think also there are many areas in which COVID changed our
Yeah.
lives. Um, if we can talk a little bit about how it changed it from living day to day, I can definitely say that the shelves in the shops are a little bit empty.
Mm. And
The
prices.
prices
Yeah.
definitely went up,
Mm.
and you can't, for instance, toys for the cats, you don't get any.
Okay.
Yeah, the shelves in Kmart is really kind of empty. I don't know if they're still waiting for containers to come
Mm.
in. That's maybe delayed, or you just can't get the stuff. I don't know, but I definitely find that the
Yeah.
shelves are a little bit
But
empty.
but now it looks like containers is the new threat. I mean, the other day container ship stopped here and it was full of COVID people. Uh, it's just a different way to look at it. So you could have that your port workers are even going to do work slower or won't work until they are all vaccinated. But and that could even increase the pressure even more. I spoke to a builder on, was it on Tuesday or last Tuesday, and he reckons that prices across the board has increased by at least 15% year on year.
Mm.
Now that is not his problem. It's going to reflect back in your pocket, the one that buys the house at the end of the day, or
Mm.
wants to renovate his kitchen. So you're gonna have to get used to paying more for the same product that you would have paid a year ago, and
Mm.
not a little bit more, a heck of a lot more. Because he reckons this is only the start of problems. Because as he told me, they don't even start a project until they've got all the materials that they have to do in the project because they don't know if it's going to be there tomorrow to finish the project.
Yeah.
So that's a bit of a can I say an eye opener or a bit of a
Mm.
wake up call?
And what I find is with the unique products that I am an agent for, the lady that imports the products used to get a shipment every second month. And at the moment, it's sometimes delayed for 4 months. So that it really makes it kind of difficult, especially if you know that you've got
Mm.
clients that need something and you have to tell them it's only going to be here in 4 months. And the stuff that we were supposed to receive, for instance, now in August is delayed until October.
So
So
you're actually telling me this is between. Can I read between the lines now?
mm.
That somewhere in the next 4 months, this island is going to sit with a lot of ugly women who haven't got any makeup on.
No, that won't
Heaven
happen.
forbid us all that. Please, come on. The main problem I think would be for the stuff that is essential to the island that we can't get.
Mm.
That is a bit of a big concern to me.
Yeah,
Medicines, those type
yeah,
of
and
things.
you
Yeah.
can already see that the variety on the shelves
Oh
are
yeah,
not
it's gone
that much
down.
anymore
Yeah.
here.
Even in the
Mm.
hardware shops.
Really.
Yeah, in the hardware shops. Yeah,
Mm.
I'm not going allowed to say this loud. Even in the fishing shops, we've been to a fishing shop the other day where I buy a specific product from Gulp, which is I would say every fisherman in New Zealand has got this product. Or let's say a soft bait fisherman in New Zealand has bought this already or has got that in the tackle box. And this fishing shop, and this is the biggest one in Tauranga, hasn't had one of this, not one.
Mm.
I'm lucky. I'm in the lucky position that I've got about 10 of those boxes.
Okay.
So
Why?
I just thought I
Why?
was planning ahead. I was planning ahead. So. No, it wasn't a special the other day. Well, actually, not the other day, about a year ago, and I bought quite a lot of that. So
Mm.
it was a very good special. So, but I'm not going to say where I put this, otherwise people come and steal it from me.
Yeah.
So,
So that really is
yeah.
becoming kind
The,
of a
the,
problem.
the other concern I have, and I'm getting people from all over contacting me about this. Except running out of products, we're running out of people.
Yes.
We don't have enough workers in this country.
Yes.
And I don't care what Jacinda or the minister of whatever what is saying. We don't have enough workers in this country. I'm not talking people on the dole. I'm not talking loafers. I'm talking workers.
Yes.
We don't have enough workers. It looks like Australia is really throwing their weight behind getting people to Australia, and they're throwing their weight getting people to Australia from New Zealand.
Yeah.
They are now recruiting in New Zealand because it's a 3 hours flight. It doesn't cost them a lot. And they're offering these people, they're offering them residence.
I know.
Within 7 weeks. Residence within 7 weeks.
So why wouldn't you go? Why wouldn't you go? You don't want to live in Australia, but I mean, if that is where you get residence, why not?
If I'm at this point of my life where I don't know if I'm going to get residence in New Zealand, and
go.
Australia offers me a hand, I'm going to take that hand and I'm going to run.
Yep.
Let's be quite frank about that. And I'm not saying go to Australia now. I mean, I haven't been there, so I can't say I won't live there.
Yeah.
Let's get this right. But they've got all the crocodiles and mosquitoes and snakes and everything that we don't have there.
But the thing is, you have to make a life for you and
you have to make a life for you. Your family in Australia is still a safe country.
And I can't understand actually why New Zealand's not realizing that they're losing people or that they're losing jobs.
I heard something yesterday, and I could be totally wrong, but they had this discussion on radio yesterday about the fact that New Zealand Parliament is for 3 years only. So if you have, let's say, Labour, when Labour came in, they've got 3 years. Now this guy says that they've got 1 year to loaf. Okay, 3 years. 1 year to loaf, 1 year to work, and then the next year they start planning their re-election because they want to keep feeding at the trough. Does that make sense to you? That made a lot of sense to me.
So this year is the loafing year.
No. They must start replanning because, they've been in for. Haven't they been in for 5 years now? I don't know, 3 years, and then
they were just elected last year.
Oh yeah, they were elected last year. So yeah, somewhere along the line they'll start getting to work now. And the other thing is, I mean, these guys that have been elected, they pop in there before they can find their feet there on their next election, and that is a bit of a problem. It's also a problem if they stay in too long.
We don't want to talk politics.
No, let's not talk politics. I want to put this up there. My daughter has got offered a job in Australia, no qualifications, but work experience, and she's earning more than me. I open her, and the house prices in Australia is way lower than in New Zealand. Way lower.
Yeah. We're not trying to get the people out.
I'm not trying to say go to Australia.
But I spoke to a lady the other day that came. She's also from South Africa, and she lived in Australia for I think 5 years, and she's been in New Zealand now for almost 5 years. And I asked her what the differences are between the two, and she said you're earning more in Australia, and the living cost is much lower. But she also said that the people in New Zealand are much nicer and the scenery is more beautiful. But I mean, if you're still young, you have to go where the job and the...
let's not just go for the young people. If you're old and your time is running out to get residence in New Zealand, you have to go wherever else you can get. Otherwise, you're going back home.
No, definitely.
And that's an impact of COVID. And I think that's probably... Except the split families, because my heart is very sorrowful. Really, my heart is very, very sorrowful for split families. But except that, I think this is the biggest impact that COVID has ever had on us as human beings. Except being apart from each other, it's now the uncertainty of what is going to happen to us. And I mean, when we came to New Zealand, there was a lot of uncertainty, and it was all due to my health. It wasn't due to bad governance or government who can't make up their mind or visas that was this and visas that was that. It was all due to my health. And I know that feeling in my heart. And I know how, I actually felt helpless.
Yeah.
I felt helpless. And due to health, I knew if I can't get it here, I'm not going to get it anywhere else. So, yeah. The sad thing is we're running out of quality workers. We're running out of people who can keep the wheels turning because if you work, you pay tax. That is one thing that government is forgetting. If you work, you pay tax, and that tax is keeping government on their feet. Currently, we've got major shortages of a lot of professions. I'm not even going to start naming up the professions yet. I do not have enough time in the whole of today. So,
And
okay,
then on a more personal level, I
yeah,
think the fact that you can't see your
yeah.
family is probably the worst
The
effect.
fact that we have gotten used to having funerals over Facebook, funerals over WhatsApp, funerals over Zoom, the fact that we had weddings over Zoom, the fact that one after the other thing, the fact that I haven't seen my grandchild ever, and she's nearly 3 years old.
The thing that's starting to get to me now is I feel like the grandkids are getting used to us not being there. So I don't know. It's really hard
Yeah,
not to see them. And of course, I think last year somewhere, the oldest one started to ask, hoekom kom ouma nie kuier nie?
yeah,
Wil ouma nie by my kuier nie?
and it's tough, and you can't explain this pandemic to that little brain.
No.
That is a
So
problem.
yeah, you kind of, I know her mum explained it to her that there's a gogga and whatever, and Oma can fly, but now she sees airplanes and she's like, okay, but there are
Yeah,
airplanes, so why doesn't Oma come? And yes, it's really hard. And you can send gifts, and we buy from Take a Lot and we buy from Woolworths, and we have it delivered, but you miss out on the birthdays. We've missed two of Leone's birthdays, and we've missed all of Emilia's birthdays.
I want to read this. And A. Smith just wrote on the other side, so I can't put it on screen. She just wrote, COVID ripped away my brother and my father-in-law in 72 hours. We can't even go back to say our final goodbyes. Yeah, people have been touched in ways that we didn't want to be touched. People have been touched in ways that is unimaginable. I mean, 3 years ago, if you told people they're going to have funerals and weddings on Zoom,
Yeah.
most people would have laughed at you.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
what I think is really bad is when all of us, everyone that's here, when we immigrated, you didn't even think that anything like this would ever happen.
Yeah.
So you came with the thought that I came with the thought that I can go visit every 6 months if I wanted to.
Or that they can come and visit,
Yeah.
which we were really
But
looking
in my
forward
mind, we were kind of thinking I'll see them twice a year. And it's just not happening. And I
No.
think it's just getting harder. So what I try to do is not think about it too much, because when you start to think, you just miss them more.
Or you can be positive and think your kids think, or your grandkids think we are movie stars. They just see us on the screen.
Yeah, I know.
That's
It's
sorry about
really
laughing
hard.
about that, but yeah.
And I know it's the other way around as well. People that's got children here that
And it's from
miss
us,
their
our
mom.
side to them as well. I mean,
Yeah, we understand totally what everyone is going through. It's really hard.
so there is a national driven with Erica. There's a meeting in Papamoa. So if any of the Tauranga people are listening, please register for that. When is that? That is
It's the 23rd of August.
23rd of August. Please, guys, register and go. Even if you've got residence, even if you are already a citizen,
I think it's good
I'm
just
going
to know
to go.
what's and I know she's doing a lot for the
And I
immigrants. So I
think
really want to go
we
and
need to
listen
be
that.
there in our masses. We need to be there and say, yes, we are here. Even if I've got residence, I'm going to go. I'm a permanent resident of New Zealand. I've got no worries. I can sit back and relax. But
Yeah.
I'm going to go because there are people out there who's not in the same position as I am. And I need to be there for them. So, and I'm taking my wife with.
No, I'm registered. I'm taking you
I'm
with.
taking you with. Okay. And another thing that where COVID impacted us, I think on the fact that the house prices went absolutely ballistic.
It is terrible.
So if you're still in South Africa, whatever price you had in your mind for a house, double that, at least double that.
We were talking the other day, if we didn't buy last year,
Oh yeah,
I don't know what we would have done.
Oh, yeah.
The prices just escalated tremendously.
Yeah, here's another person. Sorry, I don't know your name. We have had 3 grandchildren born
Oh,
and have only met them on video call. They're already going on 3 years
I
old. I
know.
know. My grandchild is 3 as well. So
No, she's 2.
2. Okay. You see, that's why.
But the oldest one is already going to school next year. I
Mm.
saw her last when she was 2 years old.
Yeah.
Not fun.
So
Yeah.
yeah. The other problem is our parents are getting older.
Mm,
I know you sitting in New Zealand, your parents in South Africa is getting older.
mm,
And the problem is we don't know when we are going to see them.
yeah. And the
That
thing
is,
is, you want to discuss the future with them,
yeah.
but you really don't know what to say because I think they're all kind of hoping that some miracle will happen and they'll be able to come here, or even just the fact that I feel for the last few weeks that I have to have a discussion with my mom. She's not getting younger.
Yeah.
And this is a discussion that I actually wanted to have with her face to face. So just the thought of I have to do this now, long distance, it just doesn't feel right.
Feel the same? No, it doesn't feel the same
No,
at all.
it doesn't feel right.
Yeah. And the fact that people have put their lives on hold, and my goodness, I actually spoke to somebody a few weeks ago who has sold everything. And I mean, this is not the only person in South Africa. I believe there's heaps of them who are on their way here but can't come anymore. Those people have given everything up. How they're surviving, I don't know.
And what do you do?
What do you do? Jeez.
And I mean, all those visas are now being.
That's been cancelled.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just been cancelled.
So
Yeah.
they really have to start from scratch and not knowing where they're going.
And the problem is you can't apply for that job now because those people or the people in New Zealand aren't allowed to take you in.
No.
So,
No. Yeah.
So yeah.
I
All
don't
right.
know.
How did COVID impact you? Let's talk about that rather.
I already
Because
said.
that is and that is probably the worst thing that you can think of is the fact that you can't see your loved ones.
I think that's the worst.
That's the worst thing, yeah. And a lot of people in New Zealand is suffering financially on the one thought that they are renting their houses out in South Africa and the guys living there aren't earning anything. So they are living, squatting basically in the house. And I don't want to let it make it sound ugly or so, but these guys aren't paying anything. And you from New Zealand can't really do anything. And you do understand that these people haven't earned anything in South Africa as well. So
yeah, because you know what it feels
you
like.
know what it feels like, yeah. But the bottom line, it's impacting your pocket badly. So
Yeah, I don't know what is going to happen. And there are so many stories going around on what will happen once everyone is vaccinated or.
what they said yesterday, and that was a suggestion from one of the lesser parties in Parliament, and this guy said basically that they want to start up, or that his suggestion, let me rather say his suggestion was to start up with business type of flights so business people can visit other business people across the world. But he said you have to be vaccinated, you have to do the Q that check-in thing.
Oh, yeah, scanning.
Scanning. You have to do basically nearly once a day. You'll have to do a saliva test. You also said that government was very slow to adapt the saliva test. Presumably, there's a saliva test where you just chuck the thing in your mouth and pull it out and can show if you've got COVID or not.
Oh.
Yeah, that is how quickly it can happen. And he said government is very slow to adapt to the new things, and now we know that. So, but that was his thoughts. And that's what he reckons the world should start be doing, or that New Zealand should start be doing. As he said, that our biggest factor was that we closed down quickly, but that shouldn't become our worst factor now. That we open up very slowly. So, yeah, and then you get bad things like this COVID ship that arrived here, and well, luckily it looks like nobody has been infected in New Zealand yet, but somewhere along the line we would need to open and
Yeah, you
so
don't know
it's
what
terrible.
will happen then.
Manitas on the other channel is saying Israel is doing a 3rd dose of the vaccine. Will 2 jabs be enough? That's quite interesting. I've actually heard something else that somebody said you're going to have to get 2 jabs per year. So we're having our 2nd jab on Sunday.
You have to get 2 jabs per year?
That is due to the fact that this COVID virus is mutating like crazy.
Oh, okay.
It's mutating at a silly speed, and presumably the first vaccine can't keep up with the mutations. It's the same with the flu vaccine.
Yes.
It's called the flu vaccine, but every year there's different stuff in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
So
it
all the
makes kind of
anti-vaxxers that
sense.
gets the flu vaccine, they could have already jabbed all that other gene manipulation stuff already into you, and you don't even know about that. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's another discussion for another
Well, let's
day.
go to the anti-vaxxers. Let's keep that out of this. So,
Yeah, everyone's got their own
yeah,
opinion.
everyone's got their own opinion. I've
may
got
or
respect if you
not.
don't want to be vaccinated, but I'm going to be vaccinated, and I expect you to respect me for that. So,
Yeah,
because I will probably keep you healthy.
yeah.
Yep, sad about that, but
The
yeah.
main reason why I am doing it is I know that I won't be able to fly if
Yeah.
I don't have it, and there's no way that I'm not going to fly.
Yeah. So if I have to take 2 jabs a year, I'll probably have to take 2 jabs a year. So,
Yeah.
but what can we do about that?
Mm.
Yeah, the other big thing I think that we COVID has touched people's lives is that they can't travel, except that they can't travel to meet their family. They can't go on holiday.
Yeah.
And the Vanita, I know Vanita's not an anti-vaxxer. Sorry, guys, I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to. So yeah, sorry, Vanita. It was just a general discussion on that. The other problem that we are facing is Queenstown, the ski capital of New Zealand, basically opened up now, and they were ready for a mad rush of Australians that were supposed to book out all the hotels. They were screaming and shouting in Queensland Queenstown because they haven't got enough staff to even man the hotels there. And then Australia, we closed the border to Australia. We had to close the border to Australia because of their COVID problems. So that's, can I say there was a ray of light there for a while? Now, the end of the tunnel is closed again. Karen Blau just saying, just make sure you make the time and effort to call your loved ones more than you usually do. COVID take people in days, and you don't want to regret that you did not because you were busy with doing life. Yeah, it's sad. In the past 2 or 3 days, I've lost 2 people who I knew personally, but I haven't seen in about 20 years. I haven't talked to them in 20, 30 years. And I just saw on Facebook they are not there anymore. So, yeah. That's a sad part of life. We go through this, and stuff happens around us, and we've got absolutely no control of this.
No.
Absolutely no control.
No.
And now we're placing our hands in people, in government and politicians, and I sometimes wonder if they've got more control than us.
No, they don't.
They
actually.
don't. They don't.
No one can predict what's going to
Yeah,
happen.
no one can predict what's going to happen, and no one can say when it's going to end. I actually got a message, I think it was on Monday or Tuesday, from somebody in South Africa saying the one person is 53 years old and the other person is 50 years old, and can they still come to New Zealand? And on the one hand, I want to say, yes, do it as quickly as possible because time is running out for you. But on the other hand, I've got to
There's nothing
say,
you can
the
do.
borders is closed. We don't know when it's going to open.
Yeah.
And this is people like this who wants to change their whole life. But now I'm caught between a rock and a very hard place. So
I was yesterday when I went to the shops, I was thinking, now with all this scanning in, isn't it so funny that, for instance, our grandkids, this is the way of life.
Yep.
So one day when they're old and we tell them, you know what, there was a time that we didn't have to scan in. We could just walk into the store and whatever.
yeah, that is technology. I mean, we can also tell the grandkids there's a time they wouldn't have cell phones.
Yeah, but can you just imagine not knowing what it
Yep.
feels like to just walk normally without a mask, going into any shop? Huh?
Yep.
If that's becoming way of life now.
And for the South Africans, we had a power cut the other day. Yep. When was it? Two nights ago. Luckily, we were not. They cut 15,000 or 17,000 houses in one of the islands. I think it was the South Island. They cut 15 or 17,000 houses. They cut the power to them.
Oh.
I think it was Tuesday evening. They cut the power. And as with any normal good democracy, there's a heck of a lot of uproar about that. So presumably wasn't needed to cut more than about under 2,000 houses. And it's all due to bad planning at the end.
Oh, okay.
A bit of a bad planning there, and a bit of a fact that if I've told you, but I didn't say you must do this, and you can't take, because presumably from France Power, they've told Genesis that they are going to have a problem, but they never told Genesis that they are supposed to make more power.
Is it COVID's fault?
No, it's not COVID's fault, but I just wanted to say
Oh.
that stuff like this do happen here as well. It could be COVID's fault as well. No, it was because we had a very, very cold night and all our air cons in this country was running. All the air cons and all the heaters was on and the country was putting power like crazy. But due to the fact that they saw what the night temperature was going to be, that's why they said earlier, I think 7 o'clock in the morning, they said, tonight we're going to have a problem.
Yeah.
So they identified the problem before the time, but they failed to say, it's going to be your problem. You've got to make more power. And so that didn't happen. So, yep.
Met Services did tell the power company of shame.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. To the people who don't know about the electric vehicles that we have, we've got a lot of discussion in New Zealand about electric vehicles. Our esteemed Prime Minister wants us to all have electric vehicles, but
what would happen if you can't
what
charge
would happen
them?
if we can't even keep the heaters on? What about the electric vehicles? So yeah. That's quite
I
interesting.
must say, winter's almost over according to the calendar, but the last 3 days was the coldest that I have.
Yeah, especially
this whole
Tuesday.
winter. It was really good. It was the first day that I felt I had to walk with a jacket on the whole day.
Yep. And we've got the aircon running in the house
I
basically
was
the
still
whole day.
cold,
So
and outside was really cold. But yes, we can see that it's becoming lighter earlier in the morning already. So it's definitely changing.
the presumption is, and I've got to tell you this, I read this the other day, is that they reckon we're going to have an earlier summer and a hotter summer. Oh, don't go with us, please.
Oh, excuse me.
Tissues. So the fact that it could be a better summer than the winter, but let's face it, we only had this 2 very cold days.
It wasn't really cold.
No, it wasn't really cold. It went down to 2 on Tuesday morning. I've got a 7 o'clock meeting, so at 6:30 I leave here, and
I'm sorry.
And it was 2 degrees
I'm allergic.
outside. You're allergic probably to me. So, yeah. All right. We've got 2 minutes left. What else do you want to tell the people about?
All I want to say is just hang in there. Don't overthink it, because that will just get you down.
Yeah.
And we just have to hang in there a little bit longer.
And if you are in New Zealand and you feel like this is just getting too much to you, if you feel like it's getting absolutely too much to you, and you don't have somebody to reach out to, you don't have our numbers, take your feet and go for a walk on the beach.
Yeah.
Nature
always makes you feel better.
How can I say that's a head cleaner? Is that the right thing? That's a head cleaner.
Walk in the wind somewhere.
Walk in the wind somewhere. And just think about those people who can't even walk outside or walk on the beach and so on. And
even though it is hard, we are still very privileged to be here and to be able to live
the way we
normally.
live.
It's just like normal. When you look at other countries, it's really bad at the moment. So we forget sometimes that other people are still going through a very hectic time.
Yeah, to those people who lost loved ones, my heart is with you this morning, and I know it's hectic. It's not good.
Really hard.
And this is not a joke.
This is a real bad virus. And this is something that you read now every day. When I open my phone in the morning, there's someone in New Zealand that I know that has lost someone in South Africa.
And it's not due to old age.
No,
I've seen a lot of young people.
90% of due to COVID.
Yeah.
Just keep safe, everyone in South Africa.
All right, guys, our hearts go out to you. Thanks for listening to us this morning. Oh, yeah, the good news. Have you heard the good news?
No.
We didn't win money on the lotto.
Oh.
So we'll be back next week, Thursday again. Same time, same place. See you all, eh? All right. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Bye.